Ocala's information station, 1370 WOCA. Ocala.
Thank you for tuning in. You know, today is National Buy a Musical Instrument Day.
Oh, cool. I can't wait.
There you are. No,
I love that.
National Buy a Musical Instrument Day. So if you are a musician, go buy a musical instrument. We had this discussion one time with Matthew Wardell, the conductor of the Ocala Symphony.
Yes.
Is there a musical instrument you always wanted to play but never have? I said the sitar when that question came up.
Yes.
I've never played an acoustic bass guitar, but I have played a bass guitar.
Yeah.
I'm not good at it, but I have played it. I understand it anyway. Scott Parkin he's not only played the bass guitar, he studied operatic bass guitar, which I don't even know what that is.
I don't either.
He played bass guitar in a rock band. Now we're talking. So now I can understand that. He's a technical communicator in the computer industry. He won awards for technical writing, interactive media, literary fiction. He was honored at the Writers of the Future Award for his short story, Purposes Made for Alien Minds, which is one of the L. Ron Hubbard Writers of the Future Awards.
Yeah.
And it says in his bio that I have here that he is a professional, social, and cultural nomad.
I love that.
I could use that word nomad for me, too, because I'm always wandering around everywhere, mentally anyway.
Social and cultural, though. That's pretty intriguing.
Yeah, well, I think that means you eat Indian food one day and hamburgers the next.
No, we do that.
Scott Parkin. Good morning, Scott. How are you?
I'm doing fantastically well. How are you?
I'm okay. Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Orem, Utah, which is about 50 miles south of Salt Lake City.
All right. Well, thank you for. What's the weather like? Is it cold over there?
It's a little cool this morning. Yeah.
I heard something about a cool thing moving. I hope it gets here. It's been too hot here lately. So, of course,
we're getting rain for the first time all year. So.
Oh wow.
It's cold.
Well, you need that. Well, thank you for being on the air with us. You've got certainly a fascinating list of things to talk to you about, and we want to focus mostly on the story and about your award that you got. But I got to ask you about the operatic bass guitar first. What is that? Is it an instrument or a style of playing?
No such thing. Actually, I was a vocal music major, operatic bass singer.
Oh, you were a singer.
Oh, okay.
Somebody had it wrong in your bio.
I did.
You did it wrong?
Yeah, because it's an operatic bass, and I just assumed it was a guitar because the next line was he plays a bass guitar in a rock band. So that was my error. It wasn't the publicist.
You must have been thinking we were nuts.
Yeah.
I was trying to figure that out. You talked about buy an instrument day. Mine would be a bagpipes, actually.
Oh, really?
Wow.
That does seem like a cool instrument.
Yeah.
I think they're all in. I can't figure it out. Are they all in A or B flat? What are they? Aren't they all in the same key?
They are. They're all in the same key. Of course, the air comes from the bag itself. You just blow into the bag, fill it up. So when you see a bagpiper blowing, they're not playing the instrument. They're blowing into the bag to inflate that, and then that puts the pressure through the instrument, and they play from there.
And that one droning tone, is that an A or a B flat?
I don't know.
I tried to figure it out by listening, and I went to a keyboard and said, "There's an A." No, that one's a B flat. But it was always.
Because I play trombone, which is a B flat instrument, and that was not my tuning note, so it's got to be the A.
Oh, okay. Oh, wow. You can even hear it, huh? Well, thank you for being on the air. So tell me about the story that won you the award. Is writing something that you do all the time? It sounds like you've got so many different things going on. Or is it something you picked up later in life?
I didn't start writing until I was in college. I didn't start writing fiction until I was in college. I'd been an essayist for by the time I got there, I'd been writing essays for years. I actually used to, I shouldn't tell stories about that, but I used to actually write other people's term papers for them. And I'd charge them for it because I was a very good writer. I could pick the grade they would get and actually write papers for other students, getting them whatever grade they asked for, and I'd charge them accordingly.
No way. That's amazing. You knew what grade they would get?
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
and I knew what they wanted, and I knew how to reach that audience and I could get to within half a grade of what they would get.
So Purpose is made for alien minds. What grade does that get?
It got a third prize in the contest, and it's an odd little piece. It's actually about a Earth's ambassador to powerful aliens is stranded in orbit around a destroyed world with the mandate to negotiate a peace with aliens that he can't see or speak with directly. The story itself is an experiment in that it's told entirely in 5-word sentences from the point of view of a human who has been genetically streamlined, and one of the accidental results of that is that he can only think and speak in 5-word memes. So
wow. Do you know what always fascinates me? Because we've spoken to quite a few of the people involved with the L. Ron Hubbard Awards, and it seems like that the whole organization that L. Ron Hubbard is part of, or was part of, or that started, I should say, is interested in the future. And obviously, our future was either influenced by or predicted by science fiction writers of the past.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I mean, I don't know what conclusion we come to. Was it influenced or predicted? But either way, I mean, we're living now some things that were only in books just a few decades ago.
Oh, absolutely. And it's interesting. You go back to the history of science fiction, that kind of the grandfather of science fiction was a guy named Hugo Gernsback. And he was a radio enthusiast back in the early 1900s. And part of what he wanted to do was to encourage smart people to speculate on what was possible in technology. So he referred to it as science fiction, combining scientific and fiction together, and actually wanted specifically authors who would try to figure out what could be possible based on what we know today in the near future, and to actually predictively speculate on that stuff. So.
And I don't know really this clearly, but it seems to me that the publishers we've spoken to, every once in a while we'll have a publisher on and they're looking for certain authors, and they'll say, don't write about aliens and don't write about time travel. And I'm always thinking, well, gosh, those are my 2 favorite topics.
Yeah.
And the fact that you have written about it, and obviously a very sharp guy, so I'm wondering if you're not predicting what we're all hoping. I guess we're hoping one day that we'll actually have this. Okay, so aliens are no longer something we're wondering about. Now we know about it. Mm-hmm. And I'm also, by the way, hoping that one day we find out that time travel is possible or whatever. I mean,
yeah.
That's an interesting one, and there's a lot of discussion around time travel. That's not really my thing. I tend to believe that time travel, other than the fact that we're all time travelers moving forward at a rate of 1 second per second,
right.
is probably not going to happen, because I tend to believe that once the event has occurred, that the best you can do is view it, not interact with it. But that's just my belief.
I wonder, yeah. Have you ever heard that we are all wavelengths? Have you ever heard that?
I've heard the idea that matter being basically a coherent form of energy means that we're either, waves, particles, or wavicles, depending on how you choose to look at it, that just take a momentary physical form. Yeah.
So you know what I've wondered about, and this is going way out, and I don't mean to distract from talking about your story, but if that's true, if we're all wavelengths, then the reason we, as one of those wavelengths, can see the bricks in the building that we're in, the animals that are in the yard, everything here is because they're all part of that same frequency or whatever. Mm-hmm. Right. And maybe Mars is just as inhabited as Earth, but we're not one of those wavelengths. So we can't. So maybe we're there and we're invisible. That little robot that's up there right now.
Yeah.
We know we can see it because it's part of our wavelength world, and there's a whole. I don't know. Does that sound weird or
there's
far-fetched?
There's actually a theory working right now. Have you ever heard of a story called Flatland?
No.
It was a story written, probably 50 years ago, about a set of two-dimensional beings interacting with a third-dimensional being. Right? So if you imagine that, someone paper thin interacting with, say, a ball.
Sounds like Jessica Rabbit. Isn't it Jessica Rabbit?
But the idea is that there may be dimensions or expressions of reality that we simply don't have the tools to recognize. So that idea of wavelengths or dimensionality, if we were dealing with a four-dimensional being, but could only see three of its dimensions, what would we see? What wouldn't we see? Right? It's a fair question.
So to connect that with your story, Purpose is Made for Alien Minds. So the way you just described it is the connecting people are not able to see them, just communicate with them, correct?
In this particular case, I've got powerful aliens who I, in fact, imagined as probably fifth-dimensional beings. In other words, they're operating in ways that we just can't understand, which is why we don't see them. But we see the result of the work that they do. So this character sees this planet, sees changes happening on the planet, because the aliens can't speak to him in words. What they do instead is they actually change the planet itself as communication.
But you also have this interaction going on because everybody, in a sense, is human because of the personalities. You have such a fascinating background. I mean, you worked in a pizza area all the way up to helping corporate IT departments. And throughout, your tenure doing that, you've noticed the different personalities of people that you can put into these stories and have it all make sense.
It is, and kind of the fun part about that is you work with a lot of people who have different assumptions. Of course, I live in Utah, which is itself an interesting, social construct.
Yeah, so we've heard. My husband was out there for about 6 months, so I heard about that.
I've lived in Germany. I've spent probably about a year total, other than Germany, living in Europe. I've been to China. So I've seen a lot of different cultures, a lot of different people, a lot of different ways of thinking. Working in technology, one of the things that I found, and actually my job, was to go talk to corporate IT departments, figure out the problems they were having. But the problem is none of us are very good at recognizing the solution to our own problems. All we know is the frustration and the pain we feel. So I would talk to a bunch of different people, figure out what the single core problem that they were all having was, and then go solve that problem.
Wow.
And, when you go work with stories, then that becomes really interesting, right? What are the common aspects of all people, and what kinds of problems are we all trying to solve from different viewpoints and different sets of tools? So that's kind of where I start from.
Wow. We need to take a little break, and we'll be right back. I'm curious about, I guess, something very superficial, which is the award ceremony itself.
Oh, yeah.
Just curious about that, I guess. We'll take a little break. We'll be right back.
The weather is brought to you by myfwc.com. Safe boating is no accident. For today, more sun than clouds. There can be a thunderstorm around this afternoon or this evening. A high today, 86 on the coast, 93 inland. Later tonight, partly cloudy, though 67 at a few inland spots, 74 on the coast. Tomorrow, times of sun and clouds and becoming breezy with a shower or thunderstorm around in the afternoon. A high 84 at the coast, 90 inland. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Joe Lundberg.
Whether you're building it up or knocking it down, get it done, rent it now. Sunbelt Rentals is here to make your job a little easier. Our knowledgeable staff will help you find the right equipment for any job, big or small. Did you know that Sunbelt Rentals carries heaters, air conditioners, generators, lighting, traffic control, and so much more? So whether you're building it up or knocking it down, we've got the equipment you need. Get it done, rent it now. And right now, for a limited time, you can have it for less. Just by mentioning this ad, if you rent it Friday afternoon, you can keep it the whole weekend and only pay for one day. But this is a limited time offer, so stop into Sunbelt Rentals today, Northwest 27th, just a quarter mile east of I-75. For more information, just give us a call, 352-369-9101. 352-369-9101. Sunbelt Rentals. Get it done, rent it now. 352-369-9101.
Hey, Matt, I know Sunrise Automotive does auto stuff, but I need some tires for my truck. Can you recommend someone?
Yes, I can. We do that.
No, I mean, I need them installed and balanced and all that.
Yep, we do that.
Well, my son needed his windows tinted.
Yep, we do that.
I need my
too.
seat replaced.
Yep, we do that too.
I need a new roof line, a new spoiler, and a new trunk.
We can even do that too.
Okay, I get it. I suppose you can also do a radio show too, huh?
Well, as a matter of fact, join me every Monday at 10 for auto repair with personal care here on The Source.
Of course you do.
All right, just about 10 minutes now before 11 o'clock. Time flies when you have a great guest, doesn't it, Robin?
Oh, it does.
We have a great guest on the phone, Scott Parkin in Utah, right? You said he's in Utah?
Yep.
And he does not play operatic bass guitar.
No, I made an error.
And you can hear him in his voice. He's an operatic bass singer.
Yes.
Okay, but he does play bass guitar, it says here. Anyway, but none of that is what we're focusing on. We're focusing on his work as an author. Obviously, a very talented writer. The story that he wrote that won him an award is called Purposes Made for Alien Minds. And there was an award ceremony, and I don't have my notes real in order here, so let me just ask him. Scott, where was the award ceremony?
So we went to Los Angeles in Hollywood, and the award ceremony was actually at the Wilshire Ebell Theater, which is where the Academy Awards were delivered for the first 30 years.
Oh, that's exciting stuff. So did you know in advance that you were winning?
Yeah, I found out almost a year before the awards that I had won a prize.
Oh, wow.
What's kind of funny is I had actually received a rejection letter from the contest for that story already. So when the awards coordinator called me to say, hey, you're a finalist under consideration for a prize, I argued with her and said, no, you're wrong. You got the wrong guy.
Wow. Well, how'd that happen? How come
I've already got a rejection letter from you folks. Oh, what happened was the judge accidentally hit the wrong button in his interface.
Oh.
And this automatically generated a rejection letter for me. So 3 weeks later, when I get the phone call saying I'm a finalist, I did. I argued with her, told her she had the wrong guy, and thanks for calling, but bye.
How honest are you? That's wonderful.
Yeah, really, I would have lied. I would have said, oh, yeah, that's me. Yeah, that's me. I'm the award-winning writer over here. Good thing.
It was interesting. I've actually been a finalist in this contest 5 times. It's something that doesn't happen very often. Most people win, but it took me a little longer than most. So, I had actually gotten that phone call several times, and then you get the second phone call saying, "Oh, we're sorry you didn't win a prize, but do please enter again."
Oh.
So
what's amazing, what I love about this contest, and from what I understand, is that it's free. You don't have to pay to enter, which means that the judges must be overwhelmed with entries.
One of the carefully guarded secrets of the contest is how many people submit, but I'm estimating that it's thousands of entries per quarter. So
it has to be.
It is. It's totally free. You go online to writersofthefuture.com, and you can submit your story there. The contest is blind judged, meaning you take your name off the manuscript, so that the judging is totally fair. There's no chance of favoritism. And then, you take your shot. It's totally free. And here's part of the thing, is if you win this contest, you not only get a prize, right? I got third prize, so I got $500 cash. You also get paid to be in the Anthology of Winners, and then they also fly you out to L.A. for a week to do a comprehensive writing workshop. It's a really extraordinary program designed specifically to discover and then help develop new science fiction, fantasy, and horror writers.
So did you have to swallow your pride a little bit? I mean, you could have taught that class.
Right.
I did teach that class, yeah. Actually, I taught the science fiction writing class at Brigham Young University. So the funny thing about that, they fired me in order to hire a young guy in the department named Brandon Sanderson.
Oh, wow.
That's my claim to fame. I was fired for my job teaching writing so that they could hire New York Times best-selling author Brandon Sanderson.
Oh, wow, that is amazing. So the book that your story is in, how many stories are in it, actually?
So there's 13 stories by new writers, plus there's, I think, 3 stories by established pros. So, in total there's, I think, 18 or 19, actually there's probably 20-something articles, essays, and then I think 15 or 16 short stories.
And did you get to choose the illustrator for your story?
I did not. So the way the contest works is it's both a writing contest and an illustrator's contest. So what happened is there were also 12 illustrator winners, and each of those illustrators was assigned one of the prize-winning stories, and they illustrated the story. Now, I didn't know who my illustrator was until we got to the workshop week, and then I finally got to meet her.
Wow.
Might have been the young girl we spoke to the other day. We had an illustrator who won I don't know if it was the one who illustrated yours or not, but it is a fascinating thing. I mean, it really is the cream of the crop rising to the top, or whatever the expression is, isn't it?
Well, it really is, and because it's a free contest, right? Everyone can enter, but the goal of this really is to find. It used to be that they were looking for talented writers. Now, with the tighter markets, you're finding that most of the people that win this contest are already pro level. That we're not emerging writers; we're emerged, and we're ready to go and hit the ground running.
Wow!
And,
so how has this changed your life?
It's been amazing because just the little bit of notoriety I've gotten from winning the contest, I've already, had better contacts with editors. I've met and worked with, as colleagues, some of the top writers in the field. Part of the problem with being a writer is that you're always kind of abstracted from your audience. You don't get out to meet people, you don't get to talk to people as much. But now, all of a sudden, I'm contacting people, right? I'm doing interviews with folks like you. I'm able to get out, meet people, and just, experience the fun part of writing, which is, frankly, interacting with audiences.
And do you think that this will lead to you being contracted to writing novels or screenplays for movies?
That's certainly the plan. I'm working on a novel right now that's actually set in the same broad world as my prize winner. And I'm actually working on a novel with my oldest son, who's 20 years old, living in Japan right now.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
Do you think you'll get your old job back?
But we think this story has really good cinematic potential, kind of a Saving Private Ryan meets Pacific Rim.
Mm-hmm. Oh, wow.
But when the judges look at a story in a contest that is called Writers of the Future, it's okay. I just realized writers of the future. So are you writing? I'm trying to figure out what the word "of" means. It's kind of weird. Is it writers who are writing of the future or writers of the future? Do you know what I mean by the difference? I mean, is your story about aliens something we'll look at and say, "Wow, this could actually happen in the future," or are we looking at you as the writer as a future writer?
Short answer: yes. I think it's both.
Both.
Because the contest wants to discover the next generation of science fiction and fantasy writers. But part of L. Ron Hubbard's thing was that he really was a futurist. He really was looking forward and wanted people to think in those terms and to create their own future, to envision better futures. And part of science fiction is that we look at what could happen as both warning and as opportunity. So that's part of the fun of what we do.
Have you ever thought that we do that, though, that we do create our futures by pretending, by making believe, by, I don't know, by our thoughts? I mean, I know sometimes we're stymied by other people or by circumstances, but it seems like it, not just as a whole, but individually as well.
Absolutely. If you have no vision, you're not going to create anything, right? And that's part of what happens is people imagine what could be possible. You look at some of the things that are going on right now, right? We have commercial space flight companies. Virgin Galactic exists. Who would have thought 20 years ago that could be possible?
I know. Isn't
and
that
yet
amazing?
Here it is.
Yeah.
Right?
Did you like L. Ron Hubbard's writings before you got involved in the contest?
L. Ron Hubbard wrote more or less before my time, so I had read some of his stuff. But found most of his stuff to be just old enough that I didn't quite connect with it.
Oh, okay.
But what he did also do was he was always a popularist of writing as a process, and his essays are really quite impressively good. He had a really keen insight on what makes story work, on the art and business of writing fiction, and absolutely worth it.
He's an interesting guy, too. I mean, you have this whole Scientology thing that's based on the book Dianetics, right? And then you have this whole body of work that he did that is, that is fictional, that is stories. Yeah. It's an interesting guy. And an interesting thing. Scott, you're an interesting guy. Holy mackerel, look at this. Take that word guitar out of bass guitar.
Yeah, I already deleted it. It's gone. Crossed out.
Well, thank you for being on the air with us. Good luck with everything. If you ever happen to be in Central Florida, we'd love to have you in the studio and get to meet you. But certainly come back and be a guest on the air with any future writings you have.
Fantastic.
Scott, thank you. The website is writersofthefuture.com. Is that right?
That's correct.
And do you have a website of your own?
I own the domain, but I haven't got it set up yet. But ScottRParkin.com will be coming up soon.
All right, excellent. We'll look forward to it. Parkin is Parkin, by the way. The information is already on the guest list for WOCA. Go to our website. You'll find it. Scott Parkin, thank you. We'll be right back. This is WOCA Ocala.
Fox News Radio, I'm Pat O'Neill. He'll be arraigned today. Darren Dillon Wint, accused of killing Washington, D.C. executive Savas Savopoulos, his wife, son, and housekeeper.
We know $40,000 in cash was delivered to the home by Savopoulos' assistant last Thursday, the day the bodies were found. But officials are not saying yet whether that's the motive behind the killings.
Annie Yu of Fox affiliate WTTG in Washington. A bill to let President Obama complete a trade pact with Pacific Rim nations expected to pass the Senate.
The real test will be in the House next month, where most Democrats have voiced their opposition to the legislation. Also today, the Senate could pass a bill that would end the National Security Agency's collection of domestic phone records, replacing it with case-by-case searches.
Fox Radio's John Decker, the owner of a broken California oil pipeline, says it'll take weeks to determine the cause of Tuesday's spill that leaked about 100,000 gallons of crude off the coast. Fox News, we report, you decide.
At Napa Auto Parts, we got your car covered. Front to back, left to right. So whether you're looking for a driver's side window motor or a glove box light bulb, you can easily get what you need. Just go to NapaOnline.com. Reserve it now and pick it up in store later. Check it out now and we'll stop messing with your speakers. Or maybe not. Conquer the job with Napa Know-How. At participating Napa Auto Parts stores.
At Choice Hotels, we know business trips start with a choice. Stay or go. You can press send or press palms. Start a chat room or chat in an actual room. Just remember, opportunities won't come to you. You got to get out there to get things done.
Should I stay or should I go?
ChoiceHotels.com makes it fast and easy to find a range of Choice Hotels like Comfort Inn and Suites. So stay with us for business and book now at ChoiceHotels.com. You always have a choice.
It's time for Farm and Ranch headlines on the Southeast AgNet. I'm Tyron Spearman reporting. Farmers have about another week to file that conservation compliance form called AD 1020. June the 1st is the deadline. If you're participating in any USDA benefits, that form must be filed. That includes loans, disaster assistance, federal crop insurance premiums, and conservation assistance. You must comply with this requirement for highly erodible lands and wetlands. The purpose of this conservation compliance, they said, is to reduce soil loss on erosion-prone lands and protect wetlands. So farmers, this is your reminder. You got a week to go.
Did you know you have a chance to win a Yamaha Viking EPS 4x4 during the Beef Checkoff's Rev It Up My ROI Checkoff Challenge? Thanks to Yamaha, you could be driving a new 4x4 this summer simply by sharing your Beef Checkoff story. Visit the My Beef Checkoff Facebook page for your chance to win. Funded in part by the Beef Checkoff. Entrants must be valid Beef Checkoff investors 21 years of age or older and residents of the lower 48 states. For full contest rules, visit the My Beef Checkoff Facebook page.
Peanut farmers in Argentina said they are harvesting their crop, and they don't agree with USDA's recent report that they've got increased supplies. They said the Argentina crop was practically no carry forward, and most have been cleared now for shipping to the Far East or for crushing purposes. On acreage, they said the acreage in Argentina this year will be about the same, but the yields are up about 40% due to some earlier rains. But right now, the rain is hindering harvest as everything is slowed down due to some cloudy mornings. And reports from Argentina this week said that they were about 90% dug, but only about 20% threshed as they allow the peanuts to stay on the ground until the sun comes out and dries them. Good maturity sizes and high percentage of bigger kernels, they said, in that Argentina crop. They compete with the U.S. or for the European Union market. I'm Tyron Spearman for Southeast AgNet.
This is a public notice. Local residents can now save thousands of dollars on their next car, truck, or SUV. It's not a tent sale, because no tent is big enough to hold this many cars. It's OcalaForSale.com. Say goodbye to sticker shock. OcalaForSale.com has thousands of vehicles with no stickers at all. But hurry, don't walk, don't run. Just sit down and log on to OcalaForSale.com. Prices and inventory change daily. Offer does not include dealer upcharge, undercutting, less roofing, factory surcharge, or delivery fee. See website for details.
Hi, I'm Seth with AA Lock, Dock, and Security. Have you ever thought about the locks or security on your house or business? Have you ever wondered why the keys to your new car cost so much? Well, at AA Lock, Dock, and Security, we can help with securing your valuables. We can even replace those expensive transponder keys. We can give you the knowledge that no one else will. Call AA Lock, Dock, and Security at 867-1965. That's 867-1965.
The weather is brought to you by myfwc.com. Safe boating is no accident. For today, more sun than clouds. There can be a thunderstorm around this afternoon or this evening. A high today, 86 on the coast, 93 inland. Later tonight, partly cloudy, those 67 at a few inland spots, 74 on the coast. Tomorrow, times of sun and clouds and becoming breezy with a shower or thunderstorm around in the afternoon. A high 84 at the coast, 90 inland. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Joe Lundberg.
All right. Thank you, Joe. 5 minutes after 11 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in. We're waiting for Victoria Moran to call in and talk to us about her book. It's called The Good Karma Diet. Eat gently, feel amazing, age in slow motion. So Rob is trying to get her on the phone.